Today on the 5-Minute Book Review, we serve up another helping, terrible pun, of overbaked book review goodness. This time on the platter. Man, this is good writing today. It's 2005's Kitchen Confidential by Anthony Bourdain. This book chronicles the ups and the downs of cooking for a living at a high level and the ups and the downs of cooking for a living at a low level. No punches are pulled as Bourdain really tells it the way it is. Insert cooking analogy right here. We do the coin toss to start, and Ian is the winner.
Welcome to the 5-Minute Book Review with Curtis and Ian. Today is Kitchen Confidential. For those of you who don't know who Anthony Bourdain is, he is a writer, an author, a travel host, and, well, first and foremost, a chef. He was a chef in New York for close to 30 years, and then he moved on in 2000, wrote this book, Kitchen Confidential, his expose of the inside world of working in a kitchen and working in restaurants as a lifer. It is amazing, especially if you have worked in the kitchen. If you worked in a kitchen or a restaurant in any capacity, it's amazing to read this. It might have been in New York, if you're working in Saskatoon, you still read stuff in here that you go, I know that, I've done that, I've been there. It's an amazing book. He's got a skill for writing, he's got a talent, it comes out, he can tell an excellent story. This book, to me, is what working in a kitchen is about. It reflects all of my experiences anyway.
I very, very briefly worked in a kitchen, Ian, and nothing really resonated with me. I wasn't there long enough. A lot of friends of mine are cooks, some of them sous chefs. Shout out to Neil Fink, sous chef. So I can relate through the stories they've told, and right off the bat, the thing that hooked me was the first time he walks into the back of a restaurant, and he calls the chefs, he says they look like a group of pirates, and that is like one of the most accurate descriptions I've ever come across in a book. Hardcore chefs are like a group of pirates. It goes on, and I'm not going to waste your time, just read the book. But at first, as we talked about before the camera started rolling, I found a lot of the food talk inaccessible to me because I'm not a chef. I don't really do a lot of cooking. So at first few chapters, it was a little hard for me to get through that, but about a third of the way in, I was just kind of immune to it, and I felt like I had learned enough about food to just keep going with him, and it didn't bother me from then on in, so I was like learning while I was reading, Ian. Can you beat that?
Some book learning doesn't happen as much as it used to, but I'll tell you, I gotta agree with you. I have a bit more experience since when I read it, some of it already made sense to me, but at the same time, you're right. I've given this book to friends who are interested in cooking, and they've read it. It's given them an insight into a world, but yeah, it is definitely educational too. I think what's interesting is sort of what he's done with his career since then. This was the starting point for him of building this empire of being a media personality that is recognizable around the world now.
Again, don't know anything about food, don't enjoy cooking, don't really enjoy eating for that much. I used to be a fat kid anyways. But yeah, this book really took off about a third of the way in. I thought it was really going to be a struggle, but it was interesting. And like you mentioned in the top, it is in New York, but everything is relevant. Some of the same stories he told, my friends, like the friend who is a sous chef, have told me the exact same stories. It happens in every city. Same thing when you're a chef. It's true.
Well, it is. That's what makes this book, it's been so successful. It's been such a successful
it translates.
For him. It does. It translates around the world.
Yeah.
You work in a kitchen in Paris, and you might as well be working in many ways in a kitchen in Saskatoon. Obviously, there will be some subtle differences, but at the same time, there's so many transferable experiences between these kitchens, and it's almost become like a Bible or a passport to being a chef. This is.
It really displays the art of it.
It does.
And that's something that I didn't know if it actually existed or not, or if it was just people, making their jobs out to be bigger than they were. But there is definitely an art of cooking on every level.
So. And this book does a great job representing that, about discussing, the nitty-gritty realities and some of the negative aspects. But it also, like you said, I think it was accurate.
When things are good, it's high. When they're bad, they're really low. And that's the stories I hear all the time. This was a recommendation from you, for me to read, Ian. 2 thumbs up. Again, I went in here knowing nothing about food, never worked in a kitchen for longer than a week. Loved the book.
Definitely. Fantastic read.
You met him, didn't you, Ian?
No, I haven't actually met him.
I thought you met him.
No.
Liar.
How do I lie when I didn't say something? Imagining conversations.